Over the last couple of years, we've tracked the oil sector bucket list compiled by Malcolm Graham Wood from Malcy's blog. Of the 14 stocks that made it through to the end of 2016, just 2 fell, while the remaining 12 rose from anything between 2 to 525%. So, what for 2017? Which stocks made it through? Which stocks failed to cut? And which are the new stocks on the blog? Here's Malcy with more. Welcome.
Good morning.
2017, we are here. We've got a new list. First of all, I want to get an idea as to what this bucket list is. What do you do with it? Why is it important?
Well, it came to me a couple of years ago from a fund manager who wasn't an expert in the oil and gas sector, saw the oil price weakness and said he wanted to put together like a little investment trust of stocks that would still be there at the end and would give him a bit of excitement in the drilling side and a bit of conservative side as well. So, you know, there's a bit of everything there. He was prepared to lose 1 or 2 stocks if need be and hoping to have 1 or 2 big ones. Well, last year we had a bit of a bonanza, didn't we?
A bonanza, amazing. 525%, the best performer one. I think 162% is the average here for that offering last year.
Yeah.
Just quickly run through the highlights for you.
Well, I mean, the Ithaca was amazingly the best performance, and didn't have a big find or anything. Just started to bring on the FPF1 into the North Sea, and has since already been bid for this year. Only 11% premium to that fund now. So the big gain came last year for them. Hurricane and Sound both had big discoveries. Obviously, Hurricane west of Shetlands and Sound in onshore Morocco. Premier had a very good year operating-wise, and the Eon assets they picked up turned out to be a lot better than they thought, and have since then sorted out their refinancing. Tullow, 203% for a 3 billion market cap stock is, and was one of the most difficult calls to go in as well, so probably most pleased about that. Faroe is highly managed, very well managed company. North Sea, primarily Norway at the moment, but I think they're looking to come back a bit more into the UK. Cairn, obviously the big discovery in Senegal from the year before, pushed through. And elsewhere, Bowleven is up. That's, in my view, that's because they've got, the management have done very well. They've still got a cracking asset in Cameroon. So I'm very pleased about that, and they've got what you might call an agitative shareholder in Bowleven at the moment.
Yeah, let's just quickly go to the last 2 if we can. Fire and Rockhopper, they disappointed. Yeah,
Rockhopper came down primarily because of the refinancing at Premier. Don't forget they're partners with Premier in Sea Lion, which is the billion-barrel field in the Falkland Islands. And whilst Premier were doing their refinancing, they were unable to do anything on that. So it's a key part of Rockhopper's portfolio. But now that they've done it, it looks much more interesting. Rockhopper was always going to be a slow burner. And FAR, well, I mean, obviously Cairn has taken 63% rise on the same assets. The difference is that FAR are in a sort of legal process with the Senegal government. Conoco were farming out. The partners brought Woodside in, and FAR are trying to see if they can take a part of that action. So in due course, I expect FAR to pick up on that and significantly increase.
Despite the fact we saw a drop last year, it remains on the list for 2017. If we look at the list of 2017, it's interesting actually looking at the companies that have dropped out. We've got Tullow, which, as you just said, 203% up last year. It's one of those at the bottom there you can see in black, Tullow Oil, Cairn and Parkmead.
Well, Tullow comes out because I genuinely don't think they can do another 200% on a 3 billion market cap company. And I have got more exposure to Africa now than I had before. Cairn, I'm literally taking that out to be replaced to keep FAR in, because FAR hasn't run up on the same asset and Cairn has already done it. And Parkmead, I think strategy for the next year or two in the North Sea is uncertain, so my North Sea play has been moved from Parkmead to Jersey, which we'll come back to.
Yeah, okay. Let's start, if we can, go back to Ithaca, because this is an interesting one. You spoke there about the fact that over 500% last year, but last year you managed to retain all of your stocks. The previous year, I think a couple were knocked out because of M&A, and here we are, just 2 months into 2017. You could actually lose your star performer from last year.
Yes, and yes, but it's the bid, funny enough, has only been at a premium of 11%, and therefore, the 500% last year, the bidder has taken it. I still think that there could be. I mean, I don't think there will be another bid, but I think this is going out a little bit too cheaply in my view. I think Ithaca's worth more than this, but the board have agreed it, and so I can't see much changing that, unfortunately, but there's plenty of others to go for.
Well, let's take a look at some of the others. Hurricane, amazing company. I remember interviewing the chief executive of this 3 or 4 years ago, and everybody's saying fractured basements?
Yeah.
What do you want?
Well, yeah, what are you on? And he's found it. I mean, he's made the discovery that everyone who knows him, Dr. Robert Trice, and he's been looking at fractured basements for a long time, and he knows that they exist around the world and can be extremely substantial.
And he owns the patent for this, doesn't he?
Well, yeah, and the point is that, at the moment, Hurricane own 100% of this acreage, and although they will be going into farm-out procedures, they actually stopped the farm-out last spring. They took some funding, a big lump of funding from a company called Cairn, and then decided to drill it themselves. And what a good decision, because they made a discovery straight away in Lancaster, and they've made other discoveries with 2 or 3 wells since, and they're drilling one at the moment. But the good thing is that fractured basement, it isn't like a sort of big North Sea field where you have to wait 10 years for production. They've already hired an FPSO. They've got the subsea working already, and so they're expecting to get a final approval this year and a CPR to give us all an idea of what the amount of oil is, and first production in 2019.
Yeah.
So, it's all going full speed ahead at Hurricane.
Yeah. Talking about full speed ahead, Sound is another one where we've got some tremendous... I mean, this has been amazing. If you got into the stock last June, you were on an amazing multiple.
Yeah.
But it continues to rise.
Went from 15p to virtually £1 in the space of a few weeks. And, but this is another major discovery. I mean, this Tendrara, the discovery onshore Morocco, which they got into fairly early on, and just found a huge gas field. Now they're hoping this gas field runs all the way up to Algeria, the Taji field, and if that's the case, it could easily be another 500.
When will we know?
Well, they're drilling the TE8, which is the big step out, 12-kilometre distance well at the moment. Well, just about to spud it, so that'll be three months or so, I guess. So we'll have a good idea then what the extent of it is, and then we'll hopefully get a CPR and an indication of how big it is. But of course, they're still going ahead with other things. In Morocco, they've got Sidi Mokhtar, which is another sort of look-alike, although not looking for this, and it's in a different part of the country. And of course, they've got the Badile well in Italy, in Milan, which was 3 years ago when he said to me the shares were 5p. Yeah. This was going to be the big upside, because I value Badile at a sort of 50p if it comes in. But at the moment, given what else is going on in Morocco, it's reasonably small bit. That is going to spud in the middle of March.
Yeah. Let's move on to some of the bigger stocks. Premier Oil is still in the list. This is the FTSE 250 mid-cap stock, isn't it?
Yeah, and Premier was probably one of the most difficult ones to put in this time last year because of the high nature of its debt. I was convinced that it would sort itself out, although it took much longer than any of us thought. But the other thing is it had an absolutely cracking year operationally. All the things they wanted to worked with one exception, which was Solan. And so, the other things, particularly the acquisition from E.ON, went very well. They've now got Tolmount from that acquisition to probably farm out and develop. And, of course, they've got Sea Lion in the Falklands, which they can now get on and go ahead with. So the only black mark is Solan, and the rest of it is operationally an exceptional performance.
Yeah. Let's move on to Faroe, another one that survived the cut.
Probably the most, the best exploration company in the marketplace. Year in, year out, they've found oil. They've been very active in Norway, which is an attractive fiscal place to be. And during the difficult times, they were able to, good quality management is able to bring down the amount of wells they're drilling when the oil price is very low. They've come out of that now. They've done extremely well. They've got a good asset base, great portfolio. One thing to watch out for, Delek Group, the people who are bidding for Ithaca, have 20% of Faroe. The rumours are in London that Delek want to have a London-based oil company. When they get Ithaca sorted out, will they come back and add Faroe to that?
Faroe could be the second one that disappears potentially off the list. Bowleven. When I hear about Bowleven, I think of Aminex. There's a type there as well, isn't there?
There was
a
but
type.
this is all down to one particular prospect in Cameroon called Etinde.
Right.
Now, the management are getting a bit of stick here. There's an activist shareholder on the case here, and they're trying to take the cash out of the company. But, if you'd said 18 months ago when Kevin Hart of Bowleven did this deal that you could take, 200 million of cash, or, a good lump of cash and a carry for the whole of Itinde, which I think is a magnificent prospect, you'd have taken it just like that. So why he's getting criticised, I'm not 100% sure. But also, they're beginning to work out, it's taken them longer. Their partners have taken a lot longer to do it. I think that's because they're not quite sure where they're going to go with the gas, and I think it looks like it might go to the Marathon plant in Equatorial Guinea. Bowleven have just started to pick up. I would very strongly advise sticking with it.
Okay, Amerisur is another one you're sticking with year on year?
Yeah, Amerisur is Colombia. I went out there at the end of last year to sort of kick the tyres, and I like what I saw. In particular, I like John Wardle, who's the guy who runs their Colombia outfit, and they've got a very, very strong team. They've got the pipeline now going from Colombia which will bring in, which is already carrying 3,000 or more barrels a day. This takes $11 or $12 a barrel off your transport costs. So, and they've got some fantastic exploration prospects in what they call the OBA hub area. So I think at this price, Amerisur is far too cheap.
Yeah, talking to Kevin Fu a short while ago, Victoria Oil and Gas, and I mean he's done a great job there. It's amazing actually. This company's gone. It has been producing gas, I know, in Cameroon for some time now, hasn't it? But all of a sudden it's coming good. Yeah,
and it's only because the market is just beginning to work it out rather than nothing much has changed. I put this down as probably one of the most undervalued stocks in the bucket list. It's already started to go well this year. Myself and one or two others have started to put out some more positive stuff on it. The bottom line is that they're drilling 2 wells at Logbaba at the moment, but they have built the pipeline all the way through to Douala and the hub, the eastern hub, and you can sell as much gas as you can find in that area at the right price. So only half the year when they've got hydroelectric power during the rainy season do they have it themselves. The rest of the time they've signed up many customers at the end of that. So they've taken the trouble to make the pipeline, and they're finding clients at the right prices. So the Victoria are doing everything right, and it's going to get better.
2 more that survived the cut. Pantheon, I want to talk about first of all. This was a good performer in 2015, isn't it?
This was up 660% in 2015. And throughout the whole of last year, there was a sort of will they, won't they. Some people were bearish. They made a couple of what you might call schoolboy errors in terms of they tried to drill a horizontal well, which didn't work, and then they had a bit of a mess up of a well. But the bottom line is that I think they're back to the bread and butter now. I think they have cracked the code. I never took away my very high valuation of £3 a share. They've got 2 results to come through any minute now. I'm pretty convinced this will be good.
And Rockhopper?
Yeah, because of course now, well, I'm hanging in there because they part own this huge asset which is Sea Lion in the Falklands, and of course relationships with Argentina are getting better and better. Premier have now sorted out the deal with their lenders, so they can take it a stage further and farm something out. They will farm out some of Sea Lion, and things will go better and better. Of course, in this whole process, Rockhopper have been sensibly diversifying a little and have got a very interesting portfolio in what they call the Greater Mediterranean, particularly North Africa.
Last but not least, FAR.
Yeah, FAR is involved in the same discovery that Cairn is in, and the reason that FAR is staying in and Cairn isn't is that Cairn is up 50 or 60%, but FAR has been left behind on this front, and the reason for that is that Conoco have farmed out, and they were Woodside were coming into the prospect. FAR actually want to preempt them and go in themselves. Should they do that, even if they don't, even if they stay with their existing percentage and Woodside come in, they've been another good partner to have. FAR haven't taken advantage of this yet, and I'm sure they will. My asset value of FAR is, target price is probably 25 cents, 7.5 cents at the moment. I think that says it all. Senegal is just not in the FAR price yet.
Let's talk about those that have come in, the new boys,
Yep.
SDX.
Well, as you know, I'm a big fan of SDX Energy. This is Africa as well, primarily up to the recent acquisition, Egypt, where they've got really high value production there with more to come, and they've got some really good exploration upside in the area. They have recently taken the Circle assets in Egypt and Morocco. In Morocco, they own the pipeline, so if they can increase the gas production in Morocco, very well and good. But in Egypt, they've done very well. They've picked up two particular assets, which I like. SDX raised $40 odd million only a few weeks ago. It was twice oversubscribed. It's a very strong management play, and I like the area they work in, so very much a big fan.
Jersey Oil and Gas, we're hearing more and more about this. In fact, I think I even saw this in the broadsheets mentioned a short while ago.
Oh yeah, you'll hear a lot about Jersey Oil and Gas in the next few months, because the management here took over Trap and have worked on that portfolio very well indeed. What they have found is they have found a block in the North Sea which contains a thing called Verbier, which is a very, very exciting prospect. So exciting, they managed to farm it out to one of the biggest companies in the world, Statoil. And Statoil have farmed in on this. My spies at Statoil tell me it's amongst the top 4 wells that they want to drill this year. I'm told that that's going to come through in August, there and thereabouts. I think what will happen with Jersey is it'll get more and more exciting as it goes through. Investors should be very careful, because obviously it's a story, travelling and arriving and all that, and we'll talk about it during the year, but I'm absolutely convinced Jersey will make a lot of money out of.
And the last one is Aminex. That,
Aminex.
I originally tied up with Bowleven, as you said, the deal was there. But what's Aminex doing? I mean, it's already a producer of gas, isn't it?
It is. I mean, I've been following Aminex for a long time, and I've been waiting for the right time to put it into the bucket list. And it had just fallen for me, actually, to put it in, a couple of weeks ago before this recent discovery, because, yes, they've got production from Killarney North, and they're doing very well, which means that they've now got revenue coming in, and they're on a much stronger footing on that one. Naturiya 2, which has been the well which they've just announced, is extremely good. That will be a gas field. They're only 40 kilometres away from the station, which will tie it into the grid. Very positive news from Aminex.
Okay, all right. It's an exciting story. Malcolm, thanks indeed there for joining us. Malcolm Graham-Wood there from Malky's blog, and you can catch up with more details on Malky's blog on this list of stocks he's got for 2017. Just a quick run through there of some of the features to watch out for this year.